Welcome to the Abundance Hack Podcast, where we want to inspire you to push past your blocks, limiting beliefs, and comfort zone to live a confident, happy, and fulfilling life. I am your host, Niajae, influencer, motivational speaker, and boss babe. Every time you hit subscribe or leave a 5-star rating, I do my happy dance. Hey M&Ms, thank you for listening to or watching the Abundance Hack Podcast. This is episode number 16. Can you believe 16 episodes already? I feel like it went by so fast. In this episode, I want to talk about scarcity. Scarcity is literally the opposite of abundance. You cannot have an abundant life with a scarcity mindset. So when we think about the word scarcity, many of us will automatically think money. However, scarcity comes in many forms: time, relationships, health, intelligence, judgment, willpower, etc. So we have to change our way of thinking from a scarcity mindset to an abundant mindset. So when you think in abundance, then you know that there is enough to go around. When you think in a scarcity mindset, you feel like there is not enough. There is not enough money. There is not enough time. There's not enough loyalty. There's not enough passion. There's not enough strength to achieve the life and the goals that you want. So really shifting that to an abundant mindset and tapping into the law of attraction and knowing that if you feel like there's not enough, the universe says, okay. And that is exactly what you attract to you. So when you say there's more than enough money to go around, I have more than enough time, and we'll get to time a little bit later. But the important thing is that we are self-aware. So self-awareness is the first step. We have to be aware of the pits in order to avoid the fall. So here's a couple of signs that you have a scarcity mindset. Number one is believing that your situation is permanent. A lot of people feel this is it. Like, there's nothing that I can do. I have to accept this. This is what life has given me, and there's no way out. So that is definitely a scarcity mindset. There is always, always, always a way. So another thing is using scarcity phrases or words. So these are like, I can't afford this. I don't have enough. I can't do this. These are all scarcity words that you must remove from your vocabulary. You must remove it from your vocabulary. Don't speak it out into the universe, but also don't even speak it in your mind. Another thing is being envious of others. So this is jealousy. This is competition. And when you are jealous or you feel the need to compete, it is because you feel as though there is not enough to go around. So this a lot of times happens in business. You're jealous that this person received a client and maybe you didn't, or received a bonus and maybe you didn't, because there's a sense of lack there. You don't think that you can get a client because this person just received a client. Knowing there is enough to go around changes everything. It shifts the energy. So making sure you have an abundant mindset. So another thing is being cheap or stingy. So there's a lot of people that try to hold on to money or hold on to possessions because they feel this sense of lack, you know? And again, shifting that to there's always more. There's always more where it came from. If you lost something, knowing that it'll be replaced. And a lot of times, if you have a positive mindset, that replacement is even bigger and better than what it was you originally lost. So the universe has a way of removing things out of our lives to replace something better. Woo! That was good, guys. That was good. So another one is overindulgence. So really think about this one. If you, let's say you didn't eat all day for whatever reason, you didn't eat all day. And then when you do eat, you wind up overindulging. You eat so much to the point to where you are stuffed and you're full and you're in like a food coma, but it's because you are trying to make up for the fact that you didn't have food before. you're making up for the lack. So overindulgence is another way to identify a scarcity mindset. And your body reacts to that too. So if we're using the food analogy, your body says, oh, let me store this food, and it stores it as fat because it doesn't know the next meal you're going to receive because you didn't eat all day. So it's like, okay, well, if they don't eat all day next time, at least I've stored some of this fat. So just using that as an example, when you are coming from a place of lack, and like, let's just say with money, you don't know where your next big check or bonus is going to come from. So you're going to overindulge and buy all these things that you want now to get instant gratification, because you don't know the next time you're going to have money. So a lot of times people with an abundant mindset, they don't have this sense of urgency to buy certain things because they know, like, okay, I'll be able to get this whenever I'm ready. But if you just came into a little bit of money, then you want to go out and do things really fast and receive that instant gratification. Let me know if that makes sense. I definitely want to hear you guys' feedback. So there are some ways that you can shift your mindset from scarcity to abundant. Number one is awareness. I talk about awareness. I feel like awareness is always the first step to anything self-development wise. Like, seriously, self-awareness is so powerful. But awareness, start to notice when you have scarcity self-talk, when you speak scarcity out loud, and even when scarcity is being spoken to you, because we store things subconsciously. So let's break down each one. Self-talk. This is important. So our self-talk shapes our reality. How we speak to ourselves shapes our reality. So you have to start pumping yourself up. You have to start empowering yourself. You have to start celebrating yourself. Okay? Like, I know some people don't like to celebrate themselves and they constantly put themselves down, but that again is a scarcity mindset, because you are preventing yourself from being the best version of yourself. So you want to start pumping yourself up and celebrating yourself and celebrating your wins and just owning your talents, your gifts, your skills. And then also be solution orientated. So if you see something you want, don't say, I can't afford that. I'll never be able to afford that. I can't buy that. Ask yourself, how can I afford it? So instead of seeing the problem of, I don't have the money, see the solution. Come up with a solution. How can I afford that? What will it take for me to afford that? So if you look at, let's just take a house, for example. You see your dream house. You're like, oh my God, this house is amazing. I would love to live in a house like that. So a person with a scarcity mindset will look at that house and be like, I could never afford that, right? And then that's it. Done deal. Now they've just talked themselves out of their dream house. A person with an abundant mindset will say, okay, let me reverse engineer this, meaning work backwards. How much is this house? How much will the utilities and the insurance and property tax, how much will all of that be? Break it down. Okay, this is how much money I need a month. This is the income of where I'm at. This is the income of where I need to be in order to live in this house comfortably. How much more do I need to make in order to live in my dream house? And once you come up with that number, figure out how to fill that gap. Maybe you need to take a few more clients on. Maybe you need to work a few more hours. Whatever the case may be, get a side hustle, supplemental income. Like, there is always a way. So having that solution-orientated mindset, an abundant mindset, if you want it bad enough, the universe will provide the resources, but you have to be open to it. If you say, I can't afford this, you're already shutting it down. The universe is not going to send you the resources because you have already shut it down. Does that make sense, guys? So again, like I just said, how bad do you want it? And that's the thing. How bad do you want it? There's a lot of people that just say, you know what? I can never have this. I can never afford this. And then that's it. But they really don't want it bad enough. If you see a house, a car, a boat, a jet, a pair of shoes, whatever it is, and you want it bad enough, you will find a way. So being solution orientated and just saying, you know what? I'm going to figure out how to get that in my life. I need it in my life. All right, so the next one is self-doubt. People tend to say, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. And I think that it's really important that we stop and say, how can I do this? How can I get better? How can I gain more knowledge? How can I crush this? What will it take for me to crush this? So any challenge that you see in front of you, ask yourself, how can I do this? And come up with a plan. I'm a huge fan of mind mapping. And you can mind map anything. Say you want to lose weight. Say you want to run a marathon. Say you want to start a new business. Like whatever the case may be, come up with a plan and break it down into small milestones, because sometimes we get a plan that's so massive and we try to bite off this huge chunk and it's too much and we get defeated. So there's that really crazy saying, I kind of think it's crazy, but it makes sense. How do you eat an elephant? Not that anyone actually eats an elephant, but how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So even though it's a really silly saying, just think about chunking it down, come up with a plan, but break it down into milestones and celebrate every milestone. So break it down into quarters. Even if you have to break it down more than that, break it down and celebrate each way. You have to get in the habit of celebrating yourself. So in the past, I've mentioned the 40% rule. Now, I love this. This is something that I heard from Jesse Itzler and David Goggins. And it literally it's something that I just feel like I live by. Like this, I've included this into my life mantras. But basically the 40% rule is when we get to the point to where we feel like we have given all that we have to give and we are at our breaking point, our brains has a defense mechanism that kicks in that says, whoa, it's getting tough, it's getting uncomfortable, you should stop now. And it does this to protect us because naturally we don't like being uncomfortable. But when we are at that point, we are only at 40%. We are only at 40%. So just think about if you push past that uncomfortable feeling into the next 60% and gave 100%. Think about how your business would change if you gave 100%. Think about how your relationships would change if you gave 100%. Think about how your life would change if you gave 100%. So thinking, I don't have any more to give, that contributes to a scarcity mindset because you have so much more in you than what you even think is possible. You are stronger than you believe, and really tapping into that strength and that power and knowing that when you commit, you can go harder than what you even think is possible. So another thing is not just pushing past the uncomfortable moments, but also finding that balance of aligning. So I know there's moments in life where you have to push hard, you have to go hard, but there's also moments where you have to align and go with the flow. So rather than push, it's just flow. But really allowing things to flow and fall into place and practicing allowing. So life is all about balance, and those are obviously two different ends of the spectrum, but I think that there's a time and a place for both. There's a time where you have to go hard when you're feeling maybe depleted. One of the things that that has really helped me recently is someone said, it always gets toughest before the finish line. It's always toughest before the finish line. So digging deep and pushing past when you're so close to that breakthrough. But then there's also times where you just have to align with your purpose, align with whatever the universe has in store for you, and allow it to be even better than what you imagined. Because a lot of times when we are in alignment, it turns out so much better than what we even thought was possible. Because you know what? The universe is abundant. And when you trust and you tap into that abundance, it surprises you with stuff that's so magical and so yummy, like your mind cannot even conceive it. So really practicing allowing the universe to guide you, allowing the universe to place resources in front of you and teach you lessons that you need to learn to have what you desire. All right. So the last one is people speaking scarcity around you. Whew. So this one is difficult sometimes because you'll have people in your life tell you, you want too much. You can't have that. You can't have it all. Now, honestly, this has been one of my pet peeves lately is people saying you can't have it all. You want too much. You're not going to find someone with all of those qualities. Once you have kids, you can't travel and have kids. You know what I mean? Like you just want too much. Like that, you guys, it's a pet peeve of mine because I know that a lot of times when people say things like this, it's because it's their own limited thinking. But it's really important that we not force our limitations off on other people. And sometimes it's not malicious. And I just want to say that sometimes it's not malicious because sometimes it comes from people like our family and, you know, people you love. So it's not like, okay, like, let me just say this. If it's someone that you don't necessarily care about, bye, Felicia. You know what I mean? You don't need people in your life speaking scarcity or negativity in your mind. Because like I said, our brains can store this in our subconscious and we don't need that. So if it's someone that you can distance yourself from, I would say distance yourself and surround yourself with other abundant thinkers, other people with an abundant mindset. But if it's your family or someone you love and someone really close to you, you have to learn to become bulletproof. You have to learn to become bulletproof. So it's almost like having an invisible shield around you to where their scarcity thoughts don't penetrate your bubble, basically. So, you know, I think it was like the Care Bears or something when I was a kid. They were able to create this little bubble around them. So visualize a bubble around you and don't let any negative thoughts or scarcity, like limitations, penetrate your little bubble. And understand that a lot of times these are not malicious thoughts that people are saying. They may genuinely believe it because of their own limitations, and that is no reflection on you. So really just being aware of what people are saying around you and really trying to surround yourself with like-minded people that have an abundant mindset, that see the possibilities, and surrounding yourself with people that see possibilities beyond even what you see, because it will open up a whole new world. In order to live an abundant life, you have to adapt an abundant mindset. That requires reprogramming your beliefs to attract all the love, money, and success you can handle. Download this free Abundant as Fuck affirmation ebook with over 100 affirmations to get you started thinking positive, confident, and yummy thoughts. Download it for free at abundancehack.com/ebook to take action towards living your abundant life. That was the first step. Awareness. And the second step is shifting your thinking, reprogramming your thoughts, reprogramming your subconscious. So once you're aware of your limiting beliefs and the things that you may feel you're lacking or there's a shortage of in the world, the next step is to shift that. So reprogram those thoughts and those beliefs. And how you do that is to write it down. Journaling is so powerful. Journaling is so powerful. So what I would do is get a pen and paper, write it down, and you can actually use a pencil. So a really good exercise is to write it down in pencil, skip a line, and write the positive, empowering, powerful affirmation underneath it, and then erase the negative, limiting belief. But what you want to do, and there's different ways you can do it, obviously. You can write it all down, like all of the negative stuff, write the positive, and then turn around and like burn. I'm a little bit of a pyromaniac, so I like to burn papers basically. But if you don't want to have fire around your house, because I don't want to be responsible for anyone setting anything on fire, but you can rip it up and toss it. You can bury it in the ground. I heard that's really good as well. But however you do it, whatever works for you, you want to write down your limiting beliefs. Write them down, everything. And this is for you. So like, get really raw, get really vulnerable, dig deep, write down everything that is holding you back. Write down the stuff that's buried really, really deep in your subconscious that you feel like you need this, or you don't have this, and this is why you're not successful, or there's not enough of this in the world for you to have what you need. Write it all down. Write it all down. And then for each one, write the positive statement. So I have some examples here. Now, I want to use this one because this is literally the biggest statement that is so common, and some people may not like this, but the biggest limiting belief is I don't have enough time. The biggest limiting belief. Okay, this is the most common one. I guarantee everyone has said this and probably says it on like multiple occasions throughout the day. Okay, so before you get upset or offended, just know I'm not attacking anyone, but the reality is we all have the same 24 hours in a day. Oprah has the same 24 hours. Tony Robbins has the same 24 hours. Beyonce has the same 24 hours, okay? So what you want to do is replace that thought with something positive, a positive affirmation, so you can start to reprogram your subconscious to stop saying, I don't have enough time, okay? So a couple of examples of positive statements that you can replace with it is, I use my time wisely. I am improving my time management skills. Okay. And we all can use these affirmations because we all say it. We all feel like there's not enough hours in a day. Scarcity mindset. We all have the same 24 hours. Time is not something that we can actually change. And there's a lot of people that believe that time is actually energy anyway. So if you feel like there's not enough time in the day, there's not enough hours in a day, then that's what you attract to you. That's the energy that you attract to you. So really just trying to use that concept to your advantage and saying, I use my time wisely. And when you start to believe that, you start to shift and adjust things in your life. And you'll start to notice that you're drawing to you a more peaceful situation. Because think about it, when you're rushing, you draw to you every red light, you stub your toe, you spill something, so that slows you down, and everything goes wrong because, again, the law of attraction, you're attracting to you more situations to justify and validate that belief that you don't have enough time. So when you start to reprogram your subconscious and say, I use my time wisely, I am improving my time management skills, because that's what it really boils down to, time management. It's not that you don't have enough time. It's what you're using your time on, what you're choosing to focus on. And, obviously I don't want to go off on a tangent about this, but think about how much time you're spending on social media. Think about how much time you're spending, binge watching Netflix or whatever the case may be. So really focusing on your time management skills, but reprogramming. The purpose is to reprogram your subconscious to stop thinking you don't have enough time. All right. So let me give you a few more. I can't afford this. This is a really big one for some people. Replacing it with the universe always provides the money for the things I want and need. Really simple. So obviously you want to come up with an affirmation that resonates with you, like your specific verbiage. So these are just examples. Another one, if it's relationship or love-wise, there are no good men or women left. So there's a lot of people that feel this, like with dating apps and Bumble and Tinder and stuff like that. Like there's no good guys out there. There's no good women left, like whatever the case may be. Again, scarcity mindset. And so replacing it with something like, when I am vibrating high, I attract quality men or women. When I am vibrating high, I attract quality men or women, whatever your preference is. So do you get the point? Like basically write down your limiting belief and then write down a positive, powerful, empowering statement to replace it. And you have to say these affirmations every single day until you start to believe it with every cell in your body. It is possible, 100% possible, to reprogram your subconscious. And when you do, watch how the world changes around you. The mind is tricky, so it definitely will try to get clever. So I have a dear friend, and I hope she doesn't mind me using this as an example, but she said to me recently, you can't always be happy. Scarcity mindset. Life has to have contrast, or happiness won't actually feel as happy. It was something along those lines, but basically what she was saying is you can't appreciate the light without the dark. Now, I get it. Trust me, I get it. But this is a sneaky scarcity thought. Because like on the surface, like it makes perfect sense. And our brains love to be right. So it will find a way to validate these feelings. But the thing about it is there will always be contrast. There will always be contrast because there are things in life that are uncontrollable, that are not within our control. So things will happen in life that challenges our happiness. That's the reality. We have war, we have disasters, we have death. We can't control who's president necessarily. Like, there will always be contrast. So why not be happy with what is in your control? Why not strive to be so happy every single day that you feel like your heart is going to explode? Why not? Because there's certain things that are going to happen in life that you can't control. So there will be the contrast. There will be a hard time, a challenge that will make you appreciate the times where things seemed easy and happy. So why not be as happy as you can within the time that you can actually control? Okay? So just really let that sink in. Really let that sink in. And I know that the last solo episode, I should say, I talked about an upper limit. Upper limit deals with happiness. So we have a threshold of how happy we will allow ourselves to feel before the limiting beliefs and a negative self-talk starts to kick in. Because people think like, oh, things are going too good. Something bad must be about to happen. Why? Why can we not just be happy? And there's a lot of people that just feel that way. Things are going too good, so something bad's about to happen, and you start looking for something bad. And again, our minds love to be right, so you will find something to nitpick at, to say, oh, see, I knew it. And the same thing, like I'll actually use this as an example. When relationships are going really good, like if you're someone that's just used to chaos and turmoil and you wind up being in a really great relationship. I'll take Carrie from Sex and the City. So she was so used to Big just kind of treating her crappy. And then she finally got into a relationship that was easygoing. The guy communicated, he showed up, he was understanding, he was great. And she's just like, something has to be wrong. He must be cheating. And like when you start looking for stuff to be wrong because everything's so right, again, your brain loves to be right. So you will find something to validate your belief. So this is why it's important that you shift your beliefs to be positive. So now the validation is positive. If you think everything always works out for me, life doesn't have to be hard. Life can be easy and enjoyable. Then your brain shifts to validate that belief. Guys, this is so powerful. This is so powerful. I could spend forever talking about this, but I don't want this episode to be super long. So let me go to number 3. Number 3 is to be optimistic. Start looking for the positive in everything, even the challenges, because life will challenge you. No matter how positive you are, there will be a challenge. But when you face a challenge, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What is this teaching me? So start looking for the right in every situation, the good in every situation. Start looking at what can go right versus what can go wrong. A lot of times people just go to worst case scenario in their head. And I'm not saying be naive. Always be prepared to be able to handle anything that does go wrong, but focus your energy on what can go right. You have to be a vibrational match to the best case scenario and be open for it to be better than you even imagined. Okay? So when people focus on things not working out or what can go wrong, it's like you're preparing yourself for disappointment. And I think that the rationale in your brain is, I don't want to get my hopes up high because if it doesn't work out, at least I won't feel disappointed. Guys, this is a scarcity mindset that you have to shift immediately. The law of attraction basically says if you focus on things not working out, it's not going to work out. And even if in the beginning it appears that it's working out, you will find a way to self-sabotage because energetically you drew that to you. So you have to be a vibrational match to what you're asking for. If you're going for a new position or a new contract or whatever the case may be, and you're afraid that it's not going to happen, you're not a vibrational match for it because I'm pretty sure that that position or that contract requires confidence. Okay? So really ask yourself, let that sink in. Are you a vibrational match for what you are asking for? Are you a vibrational match to the best case scenario? Woo! Guys, rewind that, listen back, let it sink in. So when you are going for a goal, a dream, whatever the case may be, make sure that you are a vibrational match for the best case scenario. Woo! Guys, I love when I get worked up. Just to reel it back in, I understand disappointment happens. Disappointment happens, but you have to develop mental toughness and not let that phase you. Okay? So when something disappoints you, and something doesn't work out how you wanted it to, ask yourself, what could I have done better? What can I learn from this? What is this teaching me? Was this even meant for me? This is where alignment comes back in. Maybe there is something better out there. So not dwelling on the disappointment, saying, what can I learn from this? And if, a lesson comes to you, say, all right, well, moving on, and allow the universe to do its thing. Because like I said, when you open yourself up to the possibilities, a lot of times, I want to say most of the time, almost all of the time, if you have a positive, abundant mindset, the universe provides something better than what you even imagined. Trust me, M&Ms, I promise you, if you make these few shifts in your mindset, the world around you will change. I would love to hear your feedback on this episode, on this topic. Don't be shy. I want to hear how you're feeling about these episodes. We are 16 episodes in, and I want to continue to create content that you guys are finding valuable. And the only way I can do that is if you share your feedback with me. All right. So I really, really hope that you take these 3 steps and you implement them in your day-to-day. Because again, our minds are so powerful. And when you shift to an abundant mindset and you release those thoughts of scarcity, the world around you will change. All right, M&Ms, until next time, love and light. Thank you for listening to the Abundance Hack Podcast. Don't forget to leave comments and questions. Remember, every time you subscribe or leave a 5-star rating, I do my happy dance.